Good morning and welcome to Cut Up and Listen, a podcast recorded live at Pagosa Springs Barbershop in downtown Pagosa Springs. I am Cade, I'm the owner, and welcome. I've got special guests this morning. I've got some local dudes, some studs, some awesome personalities. I don't want to overhype them because it's 7 a.m. in the morning, but I've got Chris Haas and Matt Degelman in the barbershop this morning, and we're going to have a chat about 7 a.m.
What time is it?
Yeah, exactly. Degs has informed me that he is not as much a 7 a.m. guy as maybe Chris is. Are you a coffee guy?
Tea.
Tea?
Yes.
Like green tea?
I do black tea. My favorite is a sweet tangerine black tea. I know that sounds a little
That sounds awesome.
a little girly, but it's it used to be Dr. Pepper, and so I never had a taste for coffee. I'll drink coffee, if there's no tea, but yeah, tea and water.
Right.
That's my jam.
Right on.
Coffee.
And I was gonna say, Degs is clearly a coffee guy. I can see the coffee over there.
Now, this is kind of reminding me of school starting soon, so we will be up early, and I normally do get up pretty early. I think ever since becoming a dad, I am a light sleeper. The bell dings, every day at like 6:37, so I do wake up. Do I like to get up and straight get active and go do podcast stuff? Not normally.
So
Until I start slamming coffee and then get all chatty Cathy with you.
are you a 2-cup, 1-cup?
Depends on the day. I could be a 3 or 4 cupper too until it gets too shaky.
Okay.
And then it feels weird.
Yeah.
Then I simmer down.
Oh,
Till
what's
Zena
up?
tells me to simmer down.
Yeah. Well, I like how she chimed in right there.
Yeah, she did. She's
But if
like,
you hear the pups in the backgrounds, we've got the pups in the room. Let's see, we got Zena, and what's your pup's name?
Frida.
Zena and Frida. Wow, I like
Zena
the
and
rhyming
Frida. They're
nature
They're homies.
between those two.
They're super homies.
just like us, they wear the same bandanas if you catch them.
Right on. Let's see. Well, what's new? What's new, Chris? What's new in the art world?
Let's see, in the art world, I'm kind of caught up right now currently on all my gallery shows. I'm kind of focusing more on mask making and kind of, wanting to gear towards some incorporation of performative events with my art, like visual and musical art, hopefully combining soon. So I've been kind of doing a lot of brainstorming and ideas. I'm in the idea stage right now. Not a lot of studio hours lately. Got one big commission, and then some shows coming up in the fall and winter, but otherwise I'm kind of caught up. So I've been working on music more than art lately.
Have you?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
And I think you've been telling me you've been doing more rhythm style.
Playing, kind of dropped back into percussion, which is kind of where I started many years ago, and still playing the guitar. And I recently started cello lessons.
Cello.
Yeah,
Cello.
That's right.
Cello.
The bass.
That's right.
That's awesome. You cannot say cello without saying cello. Cello.
Yeah,
No,
right?
you have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
So just trying to expand and keep it interesting and keep myself and keep the neurocircuitry healthy and firing and wiring in new ways that keep it interesting and fun for me.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Right on.
See, now that right there, neurocircuitry is the biggest word I fucking heard at 7 in the morning ever.
That's what happens when you're already up
that's
at
my
4.
bub over there. If you don't know Cade, Haas and I have been best friends for damn near 30 years now. And hearing him talk about his art and music, everything that he does makes me so proud because he's absolutely crushing it. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that over here from my side of the barbershop.
No, man.
Thanks, bub.
He does some incredible stuff.
I mean, it's amazing. I've seen it. I've seen the progression of it all.
I wouldn't say that I am an artist in the way that you're an artist. Like, we all have an art form, right?
Sure.
Like, you have an art form, I have an art form. But the way that you can create something, especially like have a vision towards like what your end product is, like seeing it, I don't know, like you'll show the pre-paint or when you're piecing it together and you'll put it on social media and stuff like that, and then you'll get the final product. And like I said, it's nothing I would have came up with. You know what I mean? Like with your peeper, that one blows me away. like because it's such a cool concept. I'll put a picture up of Haas's peeper in the background.
My peeper. Don't show everybody my peeper.
That's right, man. Well, you want to keep your peeper to yourself.
Diggs hasn't even seen my peeper yet. We've been best friends for 30 years.
Well, I mean, maybe, but I wasn't looking.
Yeah, that's right. Did you sneak a peek?
Yeah, he probably has.
But no, it was so cool. Like I said, it's so cool. I take that peeper home, and my kids were so blown away by that eye coming through the frame.
Just so the audience knows, a peeper is my term for a piece of art series that I have that's a framed glass eye with eyelid and leather skin. That's why it's really peeping. Rad. That's why I call it a peeper.
Right on, man.
But I think, like you said too, with that, seeing the end vision, even most times, like with art, like you said, we're all artists in our own ways, and sometimes you don't see the end vision.
No.
You're halfway through it, and then you start seeing it, or, for a guy like Haas, maybe he does, but even, it escalates to what it is, and,
it's
I consider
organic
masterpieces, too,
Thanks, you guys. I
appreciate that. Original shit that you are not going to see anywhere else.
No.
I wish I could say that I do conceive, like, this ultimate finished vision ahead of time, but I really don't. I'm kind of just, like, winging it, and it develops organically. I may have a rough idea of what it's going to look like, but for the most part, I just keep fucking with it until it doesn't look like crap. That's my
crucial detail.
Yeah. Keep
life
going.
goals.
If it doesn't look great, then it's not done.
I think that's my life. I just keep fucking with it until it doesn't look like shit anymore.
Yeah.
What did Taylor referred to her life as a dumpster fire yesterday? And I was like, I mean, maybe not. Like, don't do that.
Yeah,
but like,
at times,
like you said, keep fucking with it. Maybe the fire will
totally.
burn.
That's a good motto. Totally.
I was listening to an interview one time with Chris Cornell, and they were asking him about the creation of the song Black Hole Sun. And in the end, he said that he heard it from day one, that he heard the finished product from day one. Yeah. And I can't think of a lot of things that I can see the finished product.
Yeah, he was road tripping or something.
Yep.
He was just cruising by himself when he wrote that
and
song.
Just heard
and
it and said he could hear it.
That's like we have friends like, Chris Rapp and stuff like that, and just nonstop music in their head, and I'm getting to that point too where I'm like, oh, I'm hearing this. I got to get it down somewhere, like get it down recorded or something. Cousin Tony was talking about it. He was like, I'm hearing bass lines. I just need to get them down,
Yeah.
And I actually saw Chris Rapp at the gym the other day, and I was like, don't you listen to music when you're in here, like music kind of sucks, like playing through the rec center. And he's like,
you don't
I have music in my head, bro.
You don't want to hear Seal.
I have music in my head the whole time.
He's got
like,
totally. He's like,
that's in Rapp's head.
Beethoven or something. He's like,
he's got his own theme.
Rapp, if you're awake right now listening to this podcast.
Matt, what's new with you in the music world? I'm leading him. I'm leading him towards the direction.
No, same thing. Talking about art, it's kind of just an expression of music for me right now is all over the place. Punk rock bands doing good. Touring around. Just got back from a fun punk rock.
The Mass Debaters, right?
Master Debaters. Yeah.
Master Debaters.
We're still together playing, writing new stuff. We're kind of in a little bit of a lull right now, waiting to get together. But just went and got inspired this weekend with a bunch of punk rock bands up in Salida that were crushing it. Went up there with my cousin. And so doing the punk rock stuff. Haas and I were in a country project a few months ago. That was a lot of fun. Play a lot of blues in the blues band, the Orange Whip, with Brooks and Rapp, and currently playing with Josh on drums. And so lots of music, actually. And then Haas and I are getting together to pull back a Bubby reunion little thing, and we're going to open for our friend Betty Benededli coming through town here on the 20th of August, playing at the SoCo. She does some like psychobilly banjo stuff.
Banjotar, spaghetti western banjotar.
Super fun. So we're going to hang out with her. And then on top of all that, in my house, in my back room, I have a little like recording studio set up that I've just been trying to, I've been really inspired by one-man band stuff lately, like just kind of doing it all by myself because it's fun and it's challenging, and Xena likes it.
She's clearly chiming
She
in.
chimed in on that, and it's different. And I was talking to Haas about this the other day. Like, I don't quite know what it is yet, but it's there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like again, like an art project that I don't know what the end product is yet, but it's there, and I'm going to start. I'm piecing together all these like different fun pedals and looping things and 2 microphones and guitars and neck harmonica and kick drum and tambourines and all kinds of shit.
Sounds like organic process as well. Like it's developed. It's like you said, like it's there. You're just discovering it and finding out what it really looks like as you go. And
you know, we played enough music to to kind of to know the sound I'm looking for and what I'm wanting to do. I just don't quite know how to do it yet, but it's, you know, it's right there in the back room. So it's at my leisure whenever I have the time.
Sure.
With all the fun projects and activities that we get ourselves into.
If you had to describe the sound that you're hearing coming out of your creation right now, what would you say is coming out?
It's definitely like bluesy because it's got some harmonica and slide sounding. So I don't know yet. That's a good question.
Okay.
I don't know yet, but I'll tell you
kind of
when I figure it out.
Experimental.
I'll tell you. You'll be one of the first to know.
Yeah. Rhythm driven is what I'm imagining. You know, I haven't even heard it yet, but I know you. And I know
the first time I kind of set all this shit up back there, I just started going for it, and I can hear Shiloh in the other room like, "Dad, that sounds cool," and I'm like, "Perfect." That right there was worth everything I just set up for the last 2 hours.
Gotcha.
And then, you know, like Bub comes up and, you know, checks out the room, and just that room alone is fun in there. You know, it's just like when you walk into Haas's studio, it's just fun, like the tchotchkes and like looking around, like you could just be
museum.
Yeah, entertained, just looking around, and you know, and that's what that back room is. You know, there's pictures. Cade, you're in there too. You're hanging on the wall in there. You know, like, and that room, when I just walk in there and actually can like decompress and walk in there and turn on the recorder, and I don't know, it's kind of exciting to not know what's going to happen in there. Right. And I like rolling with that right now. Right on. Something might happen today.
Okay. Well, you're up early.
This is the first time I think I've been on a microphone at 7 a.m.
Well, we could start the 7 a.m. blues jam.
I did forget harmonicas and instruments, but it's okay. I was telling someone the story about the Americana project here in town. You know, the kids and the music program they have at the high school, and you know, we've been big supporters of that for years, and it's amazing the talent and everywhere, but especially in our town. And Haas, Shiloh, and I, we went and watched, and we were joking with the folks in front of us, like, "Hey, we're just here checking out our next band members," you know, and we've been a big part of that, you know, and supporting it. You know, they still put out Haas's guitar. He did some artwork on a guitar, and they still put it out in front every year when they do it. And I guess where I was going with that is, where was I fucking going with that? That we set up our band played there, you know, at like 9 in the morning.
Did you? In the high school, yeah.
And it was amazing. I just remember, like, we set up full setup, and I remember looking down at my amp and a cup of coffee on it. I was like, wow, this is different.
Yeah. After you used to playing in bars till 2 in the morning, then we were in the high school.
Sure. And I remember kids that weren't in the auditorium or that day, they were like, holy shit, you guys had the whole high school like bumping. Like, I was like, dude, I could hear through the walls. And that to me was like a super special, I don't know where I was going with that, but a super special memory in my heart.
It was the other time that you were on the mic and at 7 in the morning or 8 in the
That's right.
Before midnight.
Yeah, that's where I was going with all that, drinking coffee. And doing
I would imagine every former rebel that is into punk and stuff wants to rock a school at some point in time.
Totally.
You know, right? It's like that video of like, what the fuck is up Denny's? Like, I never even thought about rocking a Denny's.
Like, we had permission from the principal for this shit.
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
It'd be the same thing. Like, once you get that green light in a high school, all brakes are off at that point. I mean, unless somebody comes in and tells you to put the brakes on.
Even better if you don't have the green light and you just go and set up in a school and start rocking without permission, you know?
Yeah. But it was great, you know, it was like Q&A, like all these kids were like, so what's it like being on tour? And how do you guys write music? It was very fun for all of us, you know? And I mean, that was, how long ago was that, Haas? Oh,
many
shit.
years at this point. It was
Many years ago.
That was before Ragwater.
Many fucking
right?
cups of coffee.
That was Nuka days, I think.
Yeah.
Nuka. How long ago? Let's see. I know you just said it that you did the country project. How long has it been since you two played together? Right now.
In an actual band, yeah, we play music regularly, but in an actual band with other people, it's been probably 10 years since we were in Ebenezer and the Crooked Hookers.
Well, we just did that country project, but as far as a touring band and playing out and stuff,
yeah. But we do. I mean, Pagosa's just a big musical family, and we all just continuously, play in each other's bands, get on stage with each other, and it's like a big musical orgy kind of. And
the rubber band,
it's So between Chris Rapp,
musical
Diggs,
orgy,
and
I know,
I,
right? Like those.
Wow.
Jason
You really
Doctor,
painted a picture.
Yeah,
Right?
everyone's.
All the listeners are like, whoa.
It's like
the rest of my day is going to be just amazing.
It's gonna be
They
tough.
say in Pagosa you don't lose your girlfriend, you just lose your turn. It's the same with band members. You don't lose your bass player, you just lose your turn with them.
Okay.
Or your drummer. And but yeah, we've all been just taking turns being in each other's bands and in projects. And if we have a project that needs a certain this or that, we do a lot of fundraiser stuff for the charter school. Each year we do a big concert, and it's cool to put together our own custom bands. This year we put together, it was a country western music tribute concert.
Give me an
fundraiser.
example of songs that you kind of cultivated to be in the set list this year.
For my set list, I did a Hank Williams song. I did a Johnny Cash song. I did a Garth Brooks song.
Oh.
I did a Waylon Jennings song.
Okay.
So those are the songs that I did. And for my set, Diggs did he played on all of my songs with me, played guitar and harmonica on one, and then he did a Hank Williams the third song, and then we jumped up on a couple other people's songs. So it's different musicians coming up and doing 3 or 4 songs a piece. And we've done a Beatles tribute, which was fun. We did country this year. We've done like a Hollywood big band themed one. So those are really fun. You get to play not only with our immediate little tight group of musicians, but musicians. My father-in-law Bill puts it all together, and so musicians that he knows, old, young, new, different people that don't usually play together. And so it's cool to like kind of spread it out beyond the real immediate tight circle that we have. We've got a real tight group of homies that are snowboard, musician, artist, just the core group of friends that we have been playing music together for 25 plus years, and in different configurations and in formations and bands, and I hope that always continues. I think that even if there's not a band, we could all, sit around a campfire and we all know so many songs to play together, and we just, it's a family, man. It's definitely like, it's blood at this point. So.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't see that changing anytime soon.
No.
Ever. Forever.
Okay. Out of the country, big band, and Beatles, which would be your preference?
Man, I gotta say, I really dig the big band stuff.
Yeah?
We did like the golden age of Hollywood, and then we also did the very first one we did was a Prohibition era themed one, so a little further back. But yeah, I love the croony, I love the swingy, the big band. Full sound, and really getting to kind of just showcase the vocals.
Yeah.
Which
Right
is
on.
what I'm mainly a vocalist, so that's kind of probably why.
That's why you're drawn to it.
And they're all just so fun. It'd be hard to really pick a favorite because the Beatles was super fun. The country western one, Diggs and I do with our Bubby project, which is just a duo project between the two of us. We do a lot of country songs, and when I play guitar at home, most of the songs that I know, cover songs anyway, are country songs. So my heart is in country for sure. That's what, prompted me to even start a band and start singing was driving around in my truck, listening to Hank Williams over and over and over and singing along. And one day I decided I was good enough to have a band. And so I cornered Chris Rapp in in the parking lot at the ski area because I had seen him play guitar at an open mic. This is 25, 27 years ago or whatever it was. I approached him. I barely knew him, but I was like, "Hey, dude, do you want to start a country band with me?" And he looked at me kind of funny, a little half smile, and he's like, probably wondering if I was serious, you know. Little
That's
tattooed
the way he still
dude.
looks at us.
Yeah, like, are you serious? And he's like, "A country band, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want a country band. I want to sing, and you can play guitar." He's like, "Well, can I play drums?" I was like, "All right, I don't care." And then we got together, and he decided he was going to play guitar, and then he was like, "Well, this guy Deggs and his cousin Tony play music, and this was before Deggs and I were even like super tight homies." But I was like, I don't know if there's a harmonica in my country band, and I don't know about this. But as soon as they came over and we started playing, my idea of a country band quickly turned into a more of a rowdy, high energy, drunky tonk project. And the harmonica was a main driving ingredient in it, and we formed our own sound through this chemistry and this natural organic process of throwing 5 dudes together, and Jason Doctor and all of us, and
it's a pretty good grouping of musicians. I mean,
you
naturally you landed pretty well. I'm not gonna lie.
you couldn't really like probably contrive to find those 5 people and put them together, but when it just happened that way, it was magic. And we drove that ship for many years and still are in different configurations. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
That was a fun run with that group of boys for sure.
Deggs,
we played Sturgis and toured around and Nebraska.
Had some good times.
Nebraska.
A lot of rowdy
Poison.
Rowdy.
We played with Leonard Skinner
Rowdy
and Sturgis.
days. We played. Yeah, we opened up kind of a side stage at a big festival in Sturgis Bike Week at a big campground where Billy Idol and Alice in Chains and all these major bands, Leonard Skinner was playing, and we were playing the side stage, and it was our rock star moment for sure.
For sure.
It was rowdy. We were all in our prime.
Lots of good memories with that.
Yeah.
Deggs, you play the harp.
Yes, sir.
How'd you come across the harp?
Cello. Not like the harp, but the harmonica.
Yeah, you got to do it like an angel.
It's funny. I said that one day, and most people get it when I say I play the harp. But one lady looked at me like 6'4" fucking dude playing a harp.
All tattooed.
Not gonna lie, that throws a curveball into the mix if
vision
you
of that's
actually
pretty
break out a real
badass.
harp.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, how'd you start playing the harmonica?
Oh man, this is a huge shout out to a good friend of mine, Jeremiah Kaiser from California, buddy of mine. Gave me my first harmonica, pretty beat up ass old C harmonica, dented, banged up, blown out, and a couple notes, and I had it in my pocket, and he taught me how to play lowrider. Bum 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 bum. And I played that shit like 1,000 times on that piece of shit harmonica, and just went from there with it. Actually, I remember a fond memory of having a harmonica and learning this to play was I hitchhiked every day to go snowboard up at Big Bear, and I'd have that harmonica in my pocket, and I just remember trying to learn how to talk through it, and the car would pass by, and I'd just be like, "Why don't you pick me up?" And I'd try to learn that, boom, 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 boom. And then a car would stop. I'm getting a ride. I'm getting a ride. I'm getting a ride. I'm getting a ride. So I started learning that chug. And that's like a funny part of like learning on that old beat up ass harmonica.
I didn't know that.
And still to this day, in good touch with my friend Jeremiah, and he ended up marrying one of my influence best harmonica player I know, Rod Piazza, and he would play all over Long Beach, and I saw him.
He married Rod Piazza?
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Married his daughter.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Like I said,
no, I mean, I'm cool with that.
It's Maya Piazza, and his name's Maya Kaiser, and they're married. And I was just like, no shit, you married Rod Piazza's daughter? So he lives,
insane.
and he's an amazing harmonica player, and it's just a crazy story with that, but that's how I got into it. He gave me my first harmonica, so big props to him, and in touch with him nowadays. And shit, he was talking to me last week, blowing the harp through the phone, showing me some stuff, and turning me on to more stuff, and actually sent me a badass harmonica microphone from California last month. And so in a nutshell, that's that. Sorry, like I said, I'm still a little half drunk from the weekend and coming up from this coffee, but that's how it all started for me, and he gets props on that, and it's still going today. And being pressed almost every day from Chris Rapp still to Degs play 20 minutes every day and get better and better, and I'm learning more daily on how to clean up my chops and be more of a rhythm player too. And something with being a harmonica player that I've learned is to kind of stand back and let the band do their thing and be more of a listener. And when it's time to jump out and do your thing, do it, but not play over people. Yeah. I've learned that in a hard way. People tell me like, dude, it's time to shut the fuck up over there.
Sure.
But let it be more of a highlight, because when we did tour with our band Nuka, there was harmonica in every song, and even me being the harmonica player, I felt like it was overkill at times. Let it be more of a highlight instrument sometimes.
Sure. That's probably takes a lot of practice to learn how to pull back. Because like when you're young, I mean, I know playing in bands myself years ago of no merit, but you want to play louder, more. You want your sound more pronounced. You want that guitar driving, or if you were on the drums, you want to pop. I would imagine it.
Well, it's exciting. I mean, being on stage, or even if it's an open mic, you get up there, it's exciting. You want to get after it, And I can't quite get after it on a guitar like I wish I could. So I feel like, with the harmonica, I try to. But
well, who can? Let's be honest.
But again, Chris Rapp, we're learning more every day.
That's right.
We're trying to be like you when we grow up.
Yeah, one day. That's the update on music from these guys. I always love hearing about music from you guys. Love hearing about the art. Let's switch gears. Girl dads. I'm going to switch it right here. Just going to pivot midstream. We're all girl dads. All three of us. Degs, you want to tell us about your daughter?
Oh, man, where do I start? She's amazing. Might get kind of choked up talking about her because...
Naturally, I mean...
Glad you're going first.
Yeah, I can see Chris over...
I could just start with just very proud, very proud dad of the child she is and the compassionate, caring person that she's become. I had this conversation with someone this weekend just about, she's 13 now, and we get to the point where we do all we can to protect them, and especially little girls, of course, right? Little boys, like, send them out there, go get in some fights and learn how to be a man, but just protect them and be over them. And at this point, you don't want to be a hovering parent and say no too much or yes too much. All you could do at this point in life is just hope that you've taught them to make good decisions and choose good friends. And that's what she's doing. And like I said, as we sit right now, she's having an awesome summer. She's crushed it. She went on a tour, cruise with her mom. She just got back from South Carolina. She got all starstruck. She saw one of the cast members from Outer Banks, one of these little kid shows that she's watching. And
volleyball camp.
Volleyball, she's crushed it. And a lot of this, I was talking to someone about our friend Tom and Yana. I was out hanging out with them, and we were talking about, does Shiloh like to snowboard and ski? And I was like, of course she does, but I feel like I've almost pressed that so hard. I put her in boots, ski boots, the minute she could stand,
Sure.
So with a lot of these things, I'm trying to like ease back and just let her choose her things that she loves to do and back it. And so skiing and snowboarding, obviously we leave her, she does that. Volleyball is her thing right now, so we're nothing but supportive of volleyball camps and volleyball this, volleyball shoes, volleyball pads, volleyball. Shit, I've become fucking good at volleyball. Playing volleyball in the backyard. But yeah, just trying to be the best dad I can be, because I feel like, my parents weren't quite always there the way I needed them. So I'm doing the best I can be, or I can do to be the fucking rad dad. And, we're surrounded by all of our friends too. So we all have like support on things we feel like, hey, if am I doing this right, or am I over? Because it got to be the point of too, like not being too much of the bro dad,
Sure,
but being the dropping the hammer dad on shit too. You know, like her mom and we have an awesome co-parenting relationship, which I'm very grateful for. But setting protocols between each other's house, like, you know, there is rules, you know, because dad's house is the party house. Yeah. He's got the boat, he's got all the fun shit, like, but no, like there's rules over here too, you know, but also like being bro too, you know. So again, you know, this is early in the morning. I hope I'm not all over the place, but
that was beautiful.
Instantly tears start rolling down my
yeah.
face when you ask me to talk about my daughter, because it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. It honestly is, and pretty much she makes my world go around, and there's days where I feel like I'm living for her more than anything else, you know. So
right on, dude.
that being said, shout out to you, Shiloh, you little badass.
It was beautiful, man. It was amazing.
Is there any tissues in here?
Yeah. No. I'm gonna make them tears. I'm gonna make that mascara
shit.
just run, bud.
So yeah, I mean, you know, too, you know, how much time do we have? Because I could sit here and probably jabberjaw for hours on end about what an amazing kid she is, but I'm going to pass the mic off to Haas, because, you know, his daughter is my goddaughter, you know, and we decided that right off the bat. And I could sit here and talk about his kids just as much too, because same thing. Amazing. We're raising little amazing humans. Before he starts, I do want to say the other day he pulled up to my house and I saw him get out of the fucking shotgun passenger seat. And I was like, what? And then saw my goddaughter Amelie get out of the driver's seat. And I was like, holy shit, here we go. You know, like times are changing and how fast it's going, man. They're growing up fast. And so
it's amazing how fast other people's kids grow. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, your kids grow fast when you're watching them, but when you get those intermittent gaps, absolutely. I always think that in the barbershop, because I see, if you just break it down, let's say every month, you see somebody show up, and like it's almost like a time lapse of them just kind of jumping up every time. And then especially with girls, like they'll just show up, you know, another foot taller by, you know, 10 years old or something like that. It's pretty wild.
And as a dad to a girl, like, you know, very fucking intimidating, you know, like there's things that, like, you got to be like, hey, Mom, are you talking to her about some of these girl things? 'Cause I don't know how to approach some of these conversations sometimes, you know, and I don't know. It's intimidating, and, you know, everyone's like, oh, your daughter's beautiful. You better have a shotgun, you know. It's like, you know, all that shit, you know. It's like, all I know is her fucking boyfriend better have a cooler chopper than me when he shows up, you know. But, it's intimidating, but I feel like we're doing a great job, all three of us. I mean, I know all of our kids, and we were all out on the lake together.
Sure.
Last week, and I was just sitting back, just like, wow, look at this.
All of us. Cade was there.
Yeah,
Look
everybody.
at us and all our little girls.
Yeah, everybody out there just watching those kids splash and get in the dirt.
Yeah, again, just the best thing that's ever happened to me, having that little girl.
Right on. Haas, tell us about your daughters.
Yeah, they're amazing as well. I spend a lot of time with my daughters. And my oldest daughter, Amelie, is a little bit older than Shiloh, Diggs' daughter, and they have been hanging out since they're babies, and it's cool to see them still hanging out and giggling and having a great time together. And
just like us.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing. And Simone, you know, Amelie's 15 and a half. Simone just turned 11 about a couple weeks ago, and, you know, they're just so different, but so great and impressive in different in so many ways. And it's so cool to, you know, you think you have control, and you think, you know, you like to feel responsible for the people that they are, and, you know, really you help them stay on the path if they start getting off to one side or the other, but really they choose which path they're gonna walk, and the people that they're gonna be. You only have so much control over that, you know. And I'd like to take responsibility for how cool my daughters are, but they're you know, they have a mom too, and I'm only half of what's helped create them. But I couldn't be more proud. My oldest daughter, Amelie, is an amazing artist, has completely surpassed me and her mom up on illustration skills. It's when she shows me her drawings, it's just so impressed and jealous at the same time to see how she's developed as an artist, and she's a ceramicist as well. She throws pottery on the wheel and is really just embraced that and has been doing that I guess over a year now, a year and a half maybe, and is getting ready to start selling her stuff because it's just gorgeous. And my youngest daughter Simone is more into theater. As you know, Cade, she's
very talented.
Yeah, in theater with your daughter as well, and she has a little. Amelie is a little more stoic, a little more reserved and cautious, and Simone is straight like, she can't help but to just smile at everything, and she's silly, and she's not afraid to be silly. She's really into theater and dance and music. She's been kind of toying with the piano a little bit, did some bass lessons last week in orchestra camp, which was really cool, seeing her up on stage playing electric bass, School of Rock style. And they both just blow me away at how cool they are, and I feel just so grateful and lucky, blessed to be, living my life with them in it, and getting choked up.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything else but daughters, Cade, I know you have a son as well.
Yep.
And so you get both, ends of the spectrum with that, that's cool. I always thought that I was surely going to have sons and do all the boy man things with them, and as soon as I had a daughter, I was like, oh no, this is what it's about for me. I'm a daughter dad, and hopefully I can show them, what they should hope to expect if they happen to, decide to be in a relationship with a man or something, just be, totally getting choked up.
Bub. I not to cut off right there, but to chime
Please
in.
Please do. I'm a bawling mess here in a minute.
Where are the tissues at around you? You got a bunch of tattooed fucking softies in here right now. So talking about our kids, we're like, hold on.
I think I just got something in my eye. That's right. They're great. I love them.
I was staring at the light.
But with Shiloh, I was talking about and skiing and snowboarding and like kind of pressing that stuff where I guess I wanted a little boy too, right? Like I wanted a little boy and a little girl. And with Shiloh, though, I'm finding she does all that shit with me. Like, she does go hunting with me, and she does go snowboarding, goes to go fishing with me. It's like I was telling Yana on the lake yesterday about, like, I feel like I pressed snowboarding shit a little hard, where she's like, I'll go. When she goes, she has the time of her life, of course, but like hunting. And one morning I was like, you want to go turkey? And she was fucking up at 4 a.m. Like, I was like, waiting. She wants to go. Like, this is awesome. She's excited about it. And again, like just out doing bro shit with her. Like, I was on the front of the boat up there fishing, and I looked back, and Shiloh's like nailing a piece of beef jerky and driving the boat. And I'm like, go left over here. We're gonna get that one over there. I was like, so yeah, there's beautiful, sweet little girls, but they're down to do all the boy shit too with us.
And I think that those are the things that I probably more enjoy doing with them. Like, I think being on the mountain has got to be, for me, an all-time like blissful experience to look up or down the mountain and see my daughters shredding, and to see that they want to go sometimes worse than I do. Like, and seeing Simone want to shoot the bow and do so. Yeah, I don't do the girl things with them. Their mom does those mommy daughter things, and that's not my place. But teaching them to drive, taking them snowboarding and taking them in the woods and all that stuff. Camping. Me and Amelie went camping last week, just her and I, and doing the dad stuff and knowing that they need that too, and just like Deg said, I think that it's the best thing and probably my greatest purpose in life is to be dad.
Yeah. Right on. That's a good way to phrase it.
Yeah, it is.
Right
great.
there. I mean, a great way to phrase it. I've always thought that my daughters were exactly what I needed to learn from at the time when they arrived.
Yeah.
that there was something that needed to occur in the softening process. You know, I started with a son. In fact, I pick him up from the airport today. But
nice.
But he's 21.
Yeah.
You know, and so going with the gap down to a 7-year-old daughter from 21, that opens up a whole different. I mean, I had a lot of bad habits that I probably picked up from just being a boy dad. You know, like you mentioned earlier, like we want them to be pushed back out. I remember Eric coming home one time, and not to spin it, but just showing the contrast. I remember Eric coming home one time. We were living in apartments, a bunch of apartment complexes, and some kid was bullying him out there. And this kid was twice his size, blah, blah, blah. And finally, I take him in the back room and I take a pillow and I was like, start punching this pillow, buddy. And I was like, I hate to tell you this, but this is how this works. You need to go out there, and if somebody really pushes and keeps pushing, you need to learn how to push back, and that way they'll know your line. Yeah. I don't know if I would take a pillow with my daughters and figuratively, demonstrate how to work the midsection.
I taught Shiloh how to beat the shit out of a pillow for sure. You protect yourself, girl.
Oh no! I mean, don't get me wrong, but like with a boy, it
seems natural.
Yeah, it's almost like a pitcher throwing at a batter, right? Eventually, a batter has to charge the mound to prove that you can't do that anymore. And so I've always associated that with a more male culture, and it doesn't have to be. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah. But I've always naturally associated with it. Where with girls, it's there's a different emotional level that they have, that they're seeking, that they're drawing from, and so it's been a whole toning down for me. That it's soften, soften.
Well,
totally.
You see
I
right
totally
here,
agree with that.
Guys, we can't get any more tattoos to try to look tough and shit. Like, we both start talking about our daughters and tears start flowing down. Like, we're just nothing but softy dads. And it's brought a part of my life, too. Like, settled down that honky-tonk life and become a dad to a little girl. Yeah. It's been, patience and just life-changing things that couldn't ask for anything else.
I agree with both of you. That whole, it's such a transformation to be a girl, a daughter dad, because I grew up with brothers, and I grew up in kind of
beating the shit out of pillows,
in Kansas, where everyone had a chip on their shoulder. Yeah, it was all about kicking each other's asses and
wrapping towels around our fists,
and so
beating the shit out of each other.
To learn how to be around little girls was one of the biggest shifts and changes and transformations in my life ever. Was to learn how to be soft and be delicate and be, more patient. And I know you should be those things with any gender of child. But the girls really teach you that, because they're not, they're not boys. They're, and if they, especially if you have girly girls, which, I think all of our daughters are pretty feminine creatures, and some daughters are a little more tomboyish, and but I believe that these roles in our lives are designed for us for what we need and what we don't have, not because we're built to be, we're already equipped to be these daughter dads because we were just custom made for it. No, it's they teach us to be that, and that's what we become through the experience.
Well said. Yeah.
That's a good way to say it. Yep. All right, I'm going to pivot out of the tears, and this topic.
Let's talk about beer.
This topic might generate.
Is there any beers over there, Cade?
I got one for you. You want a beer? You're welcome to have one. Okay, here's the topic.
That might help my hand.
Here's the topic. Last week, Ozzy Osbourne died.
Oh man,
here we go.
He's up on TV. He was up on TV.
Just so you know, that's why I put it up in the background to try to force a little influence on you. I know you're a rocker. I know both of you are rockers. I hear country roots, rock stuff, but rocker looking at the tattoos and stuff like that. Yeah. We'll start with Haas. Haas, how did Ozzy and his music, or Black Sabbath, influence you along the way? And do you have an example of a song that influenced you?
Yeah, man, I almost kind of where do I even start or stop with that? Growing up in the 70s and 80s, before I really even knew about punk rock or anything, one of the first bands that I kind of clung to through, like my older brother, was Ozzy. You know, when I was probably whatever I was, 8 or 10 years old, I had the Ultimate Sin poster up in my little bedroom back in my mom's single wide trailer, and then into my teenage years, you know, more into Sabbath. Definitely an solo Ozzy fan, but the Sabbath stuff was really what kind of resonated with me, and Master of Reality was a big, you know, influence on me, that whole album. We recently, over the past few years, did a Black Sabbath tribute concert in Durango for KDUR, and that was like all time like dream to get up there and sing Ozzy. Hole in the Sky is definitely one of my favorites. There's just so many good songs, and as a lyricist, a frontman, myself as a lyricist and frontman, I don't know if there's anybody else that I could even compare to Ozzy as far as influence and someone to look up to, and someone who truly a pioneer of you know, metal and hard rock, and you know, at the time alternative, you know, really doing something that wasn't and hadn't been done by anybody. You know, he was truly one of a kind. You know, his vocal range and power, his lyrics, his presence. You know, I saw Ozzy a few times over the years, and when he performed, he'd come out, you know, with huge squirt guns, and he hyped the audience so hard. You know, he'd put his arms out front and would do this, and he would like get the crowd, like he was not having it if you weren't hyping. He made sure that everybody in the whole stadium was on their feet with their arms in the air and raging. Yeah. You know, that was his mission, was to get everyone just raging, you know. And yeah, dude, I mean, no one ever has done it like Ozzy. No one probably ever will. You know, I think everyone knew that he was, you know, over the past year or two was slowly on his way out. And I think when he did pass, you know, it was, as in any situation where someone might be suffering physically, you know, there's a sense of relief for them. You know, he put in the time, man. He put in the hours, and he gave more to music than almost anybody ever has, you know, as far as like rock and metal and performance. And I don't know if you could really come up with anybody who has done what he did.
Yeah,
you know,
we used to play The Wizard when we were on tour.
Yeah.
And shit, man, every time we get to play that song, it was
Misty morning, clouds in the sky.
Yeah.
That's So as far as influence on me, there's only a few others that kind of are up there on that list. So yeah, Ozzy, and you know, I had a really close friend in high school who was the biggest Ozzy fan that I've ever known. He had one of Ozzy's same tattoos on his chest, and he got cancer and died probably 5 years ago. Bob Nolan, and it's one of those things where it's like you're almost glad that Bob died first because he didn't have to see Ozzy. That's how much he loved Ozzy.
Oh wow!
You know, and so Bob was that guy in high school who had the car with the huge stereo in the back and just drove us around while we were all like getting high and getting drunk or whatever.
We all need those in our lives.
And so Bob like supplied us with nonstop Ozzy and Sabbath soundtrack to our teenage life, you know, between my mom's basement and listening to it on my own and Bob Nolan. I was definitely, that was the soundtrack to my teenage years.
Big shout out to the Bob Nolans of everyone's life.
Right.
Okay. Like that could be just, you know, symbolic.
Yeah, Bob always stayed sober, and he just drove
That's
the
what I'm
car,
saying.
you know.
There's
while we just got wasted and rocked to his amazing stereo.
Here's to you, Bob.
Yeah, man. If you've got a Bob Nolan in your life, man, you think about him and you remember them.
Yeah, thanks, Bobby.
Yeah, that's right. Degs?
Well, you know, I mean, Haas nailed that on the head. You know, the only thing I would, you know, chime in on that is, again, too, sometimes you don't like see all the parts of someone until their past and, you know, the things that come up, the aftermaths and stuff. And, you know, as, you know, Ozzy, this dark biting off rat heads and shit, you know, just a family man. We're speaking of, you know, being a dad and all this too. Like, you know, the show, the Osbournes and all this. What a fucking funny, badass dude too, you know, like this rocker, fucking metal, but like the fucking cat's on the counter again, you know, funny and just a dad and a grandpa.
Yeah.
And you know, Rap and I were talking because Rap, he's, you know, he's been same thing. He's like Bob. Like there's nothing but fucking Ozzy playing at Rap's house everywhere, every day now. And just inspiring, you know, like Youngblood and all these people. Just fucking be you, man. Like with your art and your music, and just till his last days, you know, dude's fucking sitting in a chair, still just like Haas said, just bringing that fucking house down. And I don't know. It's those kind of parts of the people that just all the way well-rounded, all the way around, bad fucking ass, dude. You know, you're a rocker. You're like, oh, he's crazy as fuck, but also like, look at what a big softy Ozzy is too.
Family man.
And Sharon and their family. You know, like fuck. You see these videos right now online. You like cry. You know, it's just like, and having that backbone and that family. I mean, that fucking guy's been through a lot. And a lot of support. So that, you know, I mean, Haas nailed it with the music and everything. And yeah, we've all been influenced in one shape or form from all that. But that too, that's the part of just the family man, the dad, the badass, the, you know, coming to the table, like just to bring people up.
Sure.
And, you know, it's not like he's fucking darkness. No, there's light in all this too.
Yeah.
So fucking rest in peace, Ozzy. Fucking ruled the shit.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Ozzy song? Anything that hits harder to you than the other ones?
You know, Hole in the Sky is a, like I mentioned, kind of stands out. There's so many. I would have to probably really take my time and look at the list. And between Sabbath and Ozzy, you know,
the list 2 weeks ago is probably different than the list today now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like now that he's gone,
Yeah.
you know, it places more emphasis. Now you hear lyrics different.
Yeah.
You know, like if you play the catalog again, you're going to hear it different, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. The Wizard was one that we did a lot. And so that was probably a favorite as well. You know, those are both Black Sabbath songs. Yeah, and then even into like the later Ozzy stuff, you know, even after Randy wrote, you know, Crazy Train, of course, is amazing. You know, those are the hits, you know.
Sure.
Then you get into Zakk Wylde stuff. No More Tears, like
It's my favorite solo.
know,
It's my favorite solo.
yeah, No More Tears, like you can't beat it, you know.
Yeah.
And then everything off the Ultimate Sin, and you know, even the stuff that he was doing up until the last minute, you know, is. I will say this: you can't say this about too many musicians, performers out there, but I really don't know if you could find a bad Ozzy or Black Sabbath song. There's you know, there's I think within every band, you know, there's probably one where you're like, oh, that ain't their best song or whatever, but there's certain bands, Van Halen, Ozzy, Sabbath, who I feel like there are no bad songs.
Yeah.
You know, and there's, I don't know, maybe 10 bands that if I sat down and made a list of those bands that just don't have a bad song, that every song is a hit, every song is a rocker, every song is a winner. You know, Ozzy was one of those. He didn't write shitty music. He just didn't.
There's a lot of good music out there, and there's a lot of shitty music out there.
Yeah. I've always thought Ozzy did well to, I don't know if it was him himself, because I know it started, him and Geezer, you know, it started on a high school level with Black Sabbath and stuff like that. But one thing I've always noticed with Ozzy is he has surrounded himself with incredible musicianship.
Yeah,
like, I mean, he has always had either the hottest guitarist, I mean, outside of Eddie Van Halen, he has had somebody that even guitarists, everybody respected. That maybe you didn't like Ozzy, maybe you thought he was a little eccentric or something like that. But the musicianship was absolutely tight.
Yeah.
I mean, just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Degs, you got one that jumps out to you?
I'm just gonna stand down on that because, like I said, there's so many.
Yeah.
That I don't even want to pick.
Yeah.
Well, the Wizard has harmonic in it.
But the
so-
Wizard, when we play it and it was on our set list, I'd be like, oh shit, fuck yeah, that was coming up next. Like, just because it was fun. And the more we played it, the more I was able to nail that heart part. And yeah, hearing my boy come in on lyrics with it, it was, of course, so. But,
Right on.
for him to pass and go, it's like next thing you know, all these fucking songs are on the stereo every day right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we're inundated with it. I remember when Chris Cornell passed or Kurt Cobain back in the day. I mean, honestly, everybody's going to have but when they're gone, their catalog sparks to life.
Yeah.
And
that's all you can hope for too, right?
Yeah. The next.
I hope my catalog sparks when I'm gone.
I actually have a hard time. I know I'm unlike probably most people with this. When someone dies, I have a hard time listening to their music right away. Like even like when Prince died, it took me a year to listen to Prince again.
Did it really?
And even Ozzy and Sabbath, I haven't played any because I need to grieve. So.
Sure. Is there any one artist that has passed over the years that you were like, it really rocked you? I know you said Prince, that took a whole year.
Prince was a tough one,
That
man.
was a big one.
A couple that I more obscure stuff that I was into. Chris Whitley was a big one for me. Kind of untimely deaths. Chris Whitley wasn't that old. Mark Sandman from Morphine. I was getting ready to go see Morphine, and Mark Sandman died on stage while playing.
Wow.
So those were two. When they're young, Chris Cornell actually was a really, really tough one. He is another one who, for me as a lyricist, huge influence on me as a lyricist and vocalist. I mean, he's another one who, his range of vocal and his power, you can't. What do you even compare that to? But someone maybe like Ozzy,
Yeah.
But they're different. But also, as a lyricist, Chris Cornell, and the fact that there's a lot of mystery and scandalous theory surrounding his death, but to think that he took his own life and that he was suffering from depression makes it seem, with someone like Ozzy, they were obviously lived a full life.
Yeah.
They were suffering physically in pain and their health was declining. Someone like Chris Cornell, totally young, totally, otherwise, would have had a huge career ahead of him. But everything he did with Soundgarden and Audio Slave, both of those are still top on my list. And he, as an individual, was just such an influence. Chris Cornell was a tough one for me.
Sure. Well, with Ozzy, touching on what you said right there, it's, back in the funeral home days, we always noticed that, if somebody dies out of line, if a kid dies or something like that, or if you don't have an understanding of why that passing occurred, it's very shocking. Ozzy, you could see somewhat of the decline. So I won't say that we were anticipating it, but it was more anticipated than Chris Cornell, or Chester Bennington or Prince, just Michael Jackson at the last second, that we just, hang on, what? That guy died?
Yeah, Michael Jackson was a tough one.
You know what I mean? Like those guys, I wasn't around, but I'm sure Lennon back in the day when how shocking was that to some of the folks,
Yeah. Because there was nothing wrong with him.
There was nothing. And it was literally instant, he's gone.
Yeah.
But I have appreciated you guys coming in and chatting about music this morning, chatting about girl dad stuff, chatting about art, chatting about life.
Chatty chat.
That's right, man. I mean, Degs got his coffee this morning. He's actually been pretty good on the mic over here.
Dex he's always a smooth operator, man.
Wow.
What
happened? I blacked out.
No matter what, he's. It could be 1 a.m. on the lake, and he's out there wake
True
surfing,
story.
20 beers deep, and
Got a glow strip around
Yeah.
his neck. Just
But I just want to take a real quick
True
second
story.
to give a shout out to the man Cade
Yeah.
for all the goodness and love and hospitality and haircuts
Absolutely.
and generosity, and thanks for having us on, man.
Hey man,
Super
I
fun.
love chatting with you guys. Hey Chris, how can listeners find your art? Do you have a plug?
My Instagram is probably the most current, up to date, and it's at M as in Mary, F as in Frank, and then Hostile, HAAS as in Sam, TYLE. And Facebook is Chris Haas Art. My website is Chris Haas Art.
Right on.
And yeah, you can just Pagosa's small enough. You can just holler my name. I might hear you.
There you go.
Degs, how can they find you and your music?
If you just want to see a bunch of cool ass pictures, you go to Chef Degs at Instagram.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's
man.
it.
Just
all I got.
Get that yellow shirt posing in the profile picture. Is that you?
Surfing drunk with glow sticks around my neck.
Hey, nobody does it better than you, Degs.
Just joking, Shiloh.
Nobody does it better than you, man. Well, thanks for listening this morning. I'm so thankful to have these guys in this morning. But this is Cut Up and Listen, a podcast. Wow, that came on hot. But this is Cut Up and Listen, a podcast recorded live at Pagosa Springs Barbershop in downtown Pagosa Springs. We are the barbershop that's home to good conversation with good, cool dudes. And we are home with free beer. So stop by. We are at PagosaSpringsBarbershop.com. Come check us out. Come bring a conversation in. Let's chat. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.